basement?
We're not in my living room.
This is my basement. What the hell are we doing here?
Well, I guess it's a good pace for scenery.
Yes, indeed. And for you to enjoy our show. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 6 of Gabagalooza, our podcast here on YouTube. We will talk about anything and everything variety entertainment. Absolutely. And we got a lot to talk about today. Is a calm before the storm, March 13th, as we are streaming this live. And for you at home,
oh yeah,
seeing the recording of this in the future, welcome either way, and welcome to the people who are here right now. We appreciate you coming by. And yes, we're not in Anthony's living room. This is my territory.
It's a good, good different change.
It's a nice little good different change. I actually really like this.
It's a little change.
Setup.
It's nice.
We did a pretty good job with the vision that we had.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I don't think it turned out bad at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
At all.
So, but we are very excited to bring this episode to you all today, as we are girding up our loins to take the field of battle in the tundra that is on our way to New York. I think we have made a stream where it was like straight up there's just gonna be a blizzard.
Yeah, I mean that was, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was 2 weeks ago,
right? Like 2 episodes ago, something like that.
I believe so.
2 or 3 episodes, whatever it is. But
we're here now.
We're here. My family's in nice sunny 70-degree Arizona. Well, 80, 70-degree Arizona. Hi, by the way.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
So, oh, look, Ashley has the wrench on her thing on the chat. Finally, YouTube recognizes the moderator of Ashley.
Let's go.
Who we will have more questions later on today in our Ashley's Outrageously Ridiculous Questions. But before we get there, we have a lot to talk about. In the sport world,
absolutely.
It is literally the mecca of sports, the month of March.
Everything is finally converging onto each other.
Literally.
We don't really get too much of football, although we get free agency and the offseason rumble, but we get everything else.
Which is very exciting. The NFL's offseason is a very exciting one.
Yeah.
Indeed, especially the fact that it started today, right?
The NFL free agency window opened at noon today, yes.
And shit's going crazy.
There's been a lot of moves already. A lot of things that have happened within this past week since we've talked last on the podcast. But one thing that really happened last week was the start of the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, man, finally. So we were literally talking about it at the end of our last episode.
Yep.
We mentioned it briefly that is going to start. We gave our insight of what the teams were gonna be and what they were going into the tournament and how well we thought that they were going to be. Yep. And it's finally here. The first set of rounds, or the first round of the first set of pools, have ended, but now it's on to the other pools. I believe A and B, right?
I believe A and B. Yes.
They started with C and D.
Yes. And I believe the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken, were one of the... no, I'm sorry. Australia was a team to advance already.
Australia was one of the teams that advanced. I mean, obviously...
yes.
Japan, undefeated so far. They have not lost a single game.
God, when Ohtani hit that home run, right, the Japan Dome lit up.
Dude, he's a superstar there. He's a rock star.
That place lit up.
He's a
and
rock
after
star,
he hit the home run, they passed around the ball so other people could take pictures of it because it was that momentous of a thing.
So in Japan, that's basically what they do whenever they get like milestone home runs like that, or like very special home runs. In America, you get ripped apart if you you try to go catch that fly ball. Literally, all the cops come over and try to break everything up. But in Japan, like you said, they literally just were calm, and the owner was like, "Here, pass it around, take a picture of it," and literally went around the entire section of the outfield. And at the end, the officers, the security there, made sure that the ball was returned to its rightful owner, who caught the ball.
I tell you what,
and it was great.
Man, it's nice over there. That's got to be something. You imagine, 15 seats down from you, a section over.
Yeah.
Right? This girl caught a, home run from the one and only Shohei Ohtani, and then, it falls on your lap, and you're able to hold it, take pictures with it. Ohtani just smacked that to the moon.
Yeah.
Like, it was very crazy to watch, like, the aftermath of that. Like, not being able to actually watch the game itself, like, but seeing that was obviously the highlight of the game.
Yeah, and so I got the standings up here right now as I'm looking at it. It was actually pools A and B that had started. They're done and over with. They have their 2 teams, 4 in total out of the 2 pools, locked up, ready to go for the semifinals.
Okay.
For their respected pool. And now pool C and D, which is U.S., isn't it?
Yes.
In pool C, currently, they have a 1-1 record. They had beaten Great Britain, as everyone's going absolutely nuts about.
But then last night
was a bit of a shit show.
Yes.
Against Mexico, who absolutely rebounded after their first loss.
Yeah,
and now they have tied their record, and they're actually tied with us in pool C, both 1-1. And we had, I believe, Dominican Republic finally win their first game today against Nicaragua.
So, yes.
They're 0-3 though, so they have a really big hold to
another team that was really, really high, South Korea.
In pool B,
they went crazy.
They did go crazy, but guess what? They are not in the semifinals. Australia, 3-1.
It's wild
against their pool.
How well South Korea played in all of their games. I mean, what was their record? I believe they lost.
They went 2-2.
They went 2-2, and if you were to look at those 2 games that they won, it looked like they could beat anybody. And then the fallout of the 2 losses that they had.
Yeah, Japan really gathered up everything and went off on them, and so did Australia.
Yeah. And now going back to the U.S., I gotta ask you. The first game against Great Britain, it didn't look like everyone was at full capacity yet, like full playoff atmosphere for baseball. But they still ended up winning 6-2, which was nice to see. But then last night, I don't even know the final score of the game. I turned it off when it was 7.
It was like 11-2. It was bad.
Like, I mean, first of all, the pitch limit and the pitch count, it can hurt, but it could also be a benefit. Like, is there any reason to panic right now for the U.S.?
I mean, I really wouldn't. Although, they are going to be playing Canada tonight at 10. Canada went off on Great Britain.
They did.
They went off on Great Britain like the U.S. thought that they were going to go off. Everyone thought the U.S. would go off on one like that. They scored 18 runs against Great Britain.
They did.
They also gave up 8. So the U.S. has a good chance. That's the biggest weaknesses a lot with these teams is the pitching.
Yeah, and absolutely. But, I mean, literally, every person on that U.S. team that will start is top 50 in the league, maybe.
Yeah.
So
you gotta admit it's still pretty strong.
Yeah, and it's just hard to see some of these guys with the caliber like Trout. Trout ended up getting on base, stolen base as well. Last night, but being able to score runs, get people on base, I feel like they have a well-rounded roster and able to do that, but it seems like everyone's just trying to swing for the hills.
It really is. Like that.
Last night, watching the game, where it really took the turn for the worst was the 3 hits in a row where they could have been ruled errors, but they were just a really difficult play to make.
Yeah.
2 of them were to Jeff McNeil, and the other one was to Arenado down the line. Where he went and fumbled the ball trying to get the release.
I will say, though, the second play McNeil made, I'm not trying to be biased, man, but Goldschmidt should have picked that.
Yeah, I definitely think that he should have
Goldschmidt is too good of a first baseman to not pick that baseball cleanly.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I will say, McNeil made a really good play on it, just being able to even get the ball off. But it seemed like he kind of hesitated before he actually threw it.
And I will say, it could be like an excuse for McNeil. He had been playing outfield with the Mets. Now he's at second base. He's not using a big glove anymore. That could be a factor of why he missed that ball. But I am gonna say he should have caught that ball.
I mean, I think that ball was in. I mean, it was kind of in no man's land.
It was in no man's land, and he got out there to get it. But the fact that he had basically almost not camped under it, but he was underneath the ball. It literally just hit the bottom.
Yeah.
Thumb.
And to play Arenado,
which is very surprising to see him fumble it like
I
that.
told Ashley when it happened, I was like, that guy's known for his defense.
Yep.
Like, he is known for his defense. Obviously, he has a fantastic bat, but I mean, like, that's his...
And a great arm.
That's where his bread and butter is, right?
Exactly. And those plays down the line is what he thrives to get.
I tried to explain it to Ashley. It kind of seemed like he had gotten the ball into almost like in his palm of his hand, and normally when you're trying to field a grounder and you go in to grab it, it's usually in the pocket of the glove, right? So I feel like he ended up trying to go for that and just completely fumbled and cracked it with his hand or whatever.
So in short, US is gonna have to pick it up defensively, and their bats just need a little more jolt, a little bit more. A little bit more.
I definitely will say that the shift is helping the U.S. In many ways, because it's gotten, they have the potential to win the entire thing.
They do.
They have a lot of high caliber players on their team, and not throwing any shade at Mexico, but I'm sorry, Randy Arozarena, Joey Meneses, and Alex Verdugo should not be a team with Mike Trout, Kyle Tucker, all these different guys on this team, Jeff McNeil, Nolan Arenado, Tim Anderson.
And Arozarena is their best player. He's a fantastic ball player.
Yeah.
By far. He's one of my favorite players to be playing in the game right now. But I will agree that if you put them up against a team like US is, they shouldn't be losing that bad against them.
No, not
at
all.
They shouldn't be making so many mistakes like that.
Not at all.
They're way too good.
Can you pull up the stats from last night? I want to see how many hits the U.S. had. Because, Mexico was playing small ball. And then it was a ball in the gap. Scoring runs that, getting on from a walk or a single. They really executed playing the small ball really well. And... like I said earlier, it seems like the U.S. is just swinging for the hills.
Yeah, so we had 8 hits last night, and a total of 5 runs. Mookie Betts went 0 for 5.
And, I mean, guys like that.
And only one person, and that was Tim Anderson, had a multi-hit game. Either it was just that, or just a bunch of ones. I mean, you had Mike Trout walk twice.
Yeah,
but he had only one hit.
That's good.
He had 1 hit and 2 at bats, so I won't be angry at that.
No.
Goldschmidt did get on with a walk once. He went 1 for 4.
Which is, I mean,
run scored.
I'm okay if you go 1 for 4, but the guy behind you's got to go 1 for 4 and do something behind you.
And guess what the guy behind him did? Nolan Arenado, 0 for 3. That can't happen. It can't happen in games like this. And then you put Bobby Witt Jr. in, who actually gets a hit. Putting him in for Nolan Arenado. I mean, it's Alonso went 0 for 4 with 2 Ks. He left 3 men on base. Goldschmidt left 3 men. Arenado left 3 men on base.
So there's opportunities there. Like those are 3 runs.
Yeah.
Given. We would have needed more than that to come back.
Yeah.
And actually win the game. But I tell you what, having a team and with the caliber of the U.S. and seeing a game like that and how it folded,
it kind of leaves you to go
It kind of left me a little shocked and a little with the goosebumps.
Yeah.
A
little on edge. Okay, we can lose this badly. Yeah, what we're gonna do next. It kind of makes you do that.
Well, that's a eye opener. We might not. We could miss the we could miss the qualify.
I know.
It's.
I know. These next 2 games are absolutely big. At the end of the standings so far for Pool A, everyone tied. Did you know that?
No, I did
not. Pool A's, everyone was 2-2. But someone had to be the winner. And they went with Cuba and Italy.
Wow.
Netherlands, Panama, Chinese Taipei, gone. But they all went 2-2. Now, it must have been a run differential thing. between all the teams. Italy was very successful with the sticks.
Yes.
They did very, very, very well.
Yes, they did.
Especially defensively as well. And the Dark Knight rises again for Team Italy, Matt Harvey, out of nowhere. And then Team Cuba did the same thing as well. They went off on Chinese Taipei a couple times. They went off on Panama. So that's how that pool ended. Which was very surprising.
Venezuela as well is on fire.
Yeah, even though they beat who did they beat last night? Puerto Rico.
I believe they
beat Puerto Rico last night and they killed them. It was like 7-2.
Yeah.
Like they went off. Something around those lines. They had a big game with the Basques.
Yeah, big
Perez
game.
I believe Salvi Perez went deep.
I recall. I think you are correct.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if he went deep twice though. But he ended up going Venezuela 2-0 in Pool D, and at the end of Pool B, obviously Japan and Australia at the top there. I'm interested to see what Australia does from here on out.
Honestly, same.
Against Japan.
Because
you know what I mean? Well, no, not against Japan. They're actually going to be playing Cuba.
But
Italy will be playing Japan. We'll see how that goes. Even though they've been red hot, I will say though they have a shot to make it a good game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or a good game. I forget how the quarterfinals works. I know that's who they're going to be playing. I don't know if it's like a best of like 3. I don't remember.
I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna have to brush up on it.
It doesn't say it like on the bracket that I'm looking at here, so I'm gonna have to like just kind of make a guesstimate here or whatever. Mm-hmm. It could be a best of 3. It could. I don't think it's just a one-off. I don't think it's do or die kind of situation. I think it's a little bit of a series.
Okay.
I would like to think. But that's how that side of the bracket ends, and then you got Pool C, which has Canada on top and Colombia 1-0. They are playing, I believe, at some point. They will not be playing tonight, I don't think, anyway. Well, actually, no, Colombia. Oh, and live score right now. Get ready for this. Colombia is playing Great Britain. Great Britain's up 7-3 against Colombia. Right now, top of the 8th.
See, it's really making me wonder, like, okay, a team like that can do something like that. Mm-hmm. We beat them,
We beat them, not by a whole lot, 4-run game.
But we lose to Mexico, what?
It's up in the air, man. Like, it really is. Like, you don't really know. You can't really give, like, I mean, you can just kind of just give your opinion at this point.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, I think this is what's going to happen. It's like, you just hope for the best.
Yeah.
You kind of just run with your head down and hope for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And we mentioned earlier, it's been a wild week for just sports in general. It's been great to watch the World Baseball Classic, but there's been a lot of news from the NFL this week. A lot of them have a lot of these have come today, but it is free agency, like we said earlier. Free agency started today at noon, and a bunch of players already were announced to be doing different things before then. But then a bunch of moves started happening. So I'm gonna give you a list of people. There's gonna be people on here that are either seeking a trade or to be released, right? And there's quite a few of them.
It's crazy.
And there's some retiree, talk in here, and there's a lot of deals. So we'll go through these here. So the first one, which was probably the earliest move that everyone heard of, was Vikings releasing Adam Thielen. And that came as a shocker, especially to the Viking community, because he was their homegrown kind of guy.
Yeah.
He's been there his entire career, and now he's going to end up going somewhere else. So it's interesting to see where he might end up going. We have the Aaron Rodgers news, that is still looming. Now, reports today have been, coming out that a deal is almost done. Like, a deal for the trade is nearly done. Now, a lot of the Jets players, Quinn Williams, you had Garrett Wilson tweeting, now I can enjoy my vacation, cryptic tweets, hinting that Rodgers might, leave, so him going to the Jets is really, really, really up in the air right now, and is real possibility. Darius Slay, amidst contract talks, him and the Philadelphia Eagles not meeting a deal, he's being either requested to trade or being released. Then you have Frank Clark from the Kansas City Chiefs, defensive end there. He's being released from the Kansas City Chiefs. Calais Campbell, he was released from the Baltimore Ravens. Austin Eckler today requested a trade from the Los Angeles Chargers.
It's crazy.
And then we get into a little retirement news. Devin McCourty, free safety for longtime longtime New England Patriot, Devin McCourty, calling it quits, calling his career, dunzo. I always enjoyed watching him play. It's going to be a little sad not knowing that, he is there to play, but I do believe his brother Jason is still playing.
I believe so.
And when he goes, I will be upset to see both the McCourty brothers go. Mm-hmm. Jason Kelsey, amidst retirement talk, announced that he's going to stay another year with the Eagles, and he's going to come back, which was very nice to hear, because I love Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, me too.
He's a good one. The Dolphins ended up picking up Tua Tagovailoa's fifth-year option. That happened last week. Then you have Jalen Ramsey was traded from the Rams to the Miami Dolphins for a third-round pick and a tight end, Hunter Long.
Oh, poor Jet fans. Oh, they gotta worry about
Jet
that
fans.
now.
And
Patriot fans.
Miami's making moves, And now, a third-round pick for Jalen Ramsey. I just want to put in a comparison. Matt Ryan last season was traded for a third-round pick. And the tight end, Hunter Long, I'm sorry if you see this, nobody knows who you are. And for a deal like that to go down, I feel like the Rams just... They sold them for change.
Yeah, I know.
It's like,
It's just very odd.
He comes with a high salary, and a lot of money you got to pay him, but I just don't understand how you could give one of the best corners in the league up for a third round pick and a guy. It was a little disturbing. I tell you what, I would have thrown a third round pick for Jalen Ramsey. Are you kidding me? Oh God. All right, and then the Washington Commanders ended up signing Deron Payne. Apologies. The Washington Commanders extended Deron Payne, defensive tackle, to a $90 million deal, making him the highest paid defensive tackle not named Aaron Donald. Which is funny when you really think about it, because Aaron Donald has led this category for so long. What's going on, Pops? We'll continue on with the deals. Jimmy Garoppolo signed a 3-year deal worth $67.5 million with the Raiders. 34 of that $67.5 million is guaranteed.
Which leads to the next signing for the 49ers that just dropped just before the show.
Oh yeah.
Didn't you say? Who'd you say? Someone you just said a quarterback for the 49ers. Wasn't it? No quarterback from the 49ers.
Okay. We'll continue on here. Robert Woods signed a 2-year deal with the Texans.
Okay.
Daniel Jones, he signed an extension with the Giants.
Yep, he did.
4 years, $160 million, 92 guaranteed, which is wild. You break it down, that's $40 a year. Is a lot. That's probably wrong.
It was. 49ers had agreed to a 1-year deal for Sam Darnold.
Oh, yes, correct.
They did. That's what I remember. I do remember seeing that just before the show. That did happen. So, yes, they had lost Jimmy Garoppolo, and obviously they still have Purdy, right?
They still have Purdy.
They still
have Trey Lance.
They still have Trey Lance, but now they got Sam Darnold. So we'll see what happens
now,
with that.
I guess with Purdy being hurt, if Trey Lance comes back to be the starter, then you have Sam being the backup, and then when Purdy gets healthy, you have Lance be the backup and Darnold be the backup.
And maybe released, maybe traded.
I don't see him being traded. I might see him being released, though. It's a possibility. Mm-hmm. And, Jesse Bates ended up signing a deal with the Falcons right before the show. did not get the numbers on that deal yet, but defensive tackle Javon Hargrave signed a 4-year deal with the 49ers. No money or price tag on that yet either. All right. Now, some other news that happened this week.
Jesse Bates, $64 million.
$64 million. How many years on that?
I'm going to check. It is... Oh, wow. How many years? Come on, tell me.
Sometimes it goes up in the air.
It says it will pay out $23 million in the first year. They're not saying how many years, though. That's weird.
It might be a 3 or a 4, I'm thinking, at that point.
Yeah, it could be a 3-year deal.
But there was some also major news coming out of the NFL this week. Carolina Panthers traded up for the first overall pick with the Chicago Bears. Now they acquire the first overall pick. Makes me extremely sad because I know that most likely what the quarterback I want will be gone, and it puts the Colts in a very difficult predicament, which we will talk about soon. But to go over the trade, the Panthers ended up sending over the number 9 pick, so the first round pick this year, 61, which is a third for this year, next year's first and second round picks, and number 1 receiver DJ Moore. Tell me, who won that trade? Because I tell you what, it ain't the Panthers.
It ain't the Panthers.
You know,
absolutely
I tell
fleeced.
You know,
the Panthers.
They really, the Bears GM Brian Poles.
He pulled a rabbit out of his ass, man.
Good fucking job, man. You fleeced the hell out of the Panthers. Now, you know, a guy inside the organization for Carolina ended up coming out and saying, you know, departing with those picks is one thing, but also departing with DJ Moore hurts. But, you know, I'd rather have a quarterback than have a guy that can run flawless routes.
Yeah.
So I understand where they're coming from in that direction, but man, now we got to talk about, you know, Packers. Your quarterback is on the verge of possibly leaving.
Yeah.
And you see the Vikings making a bunch of moves, releasing people, getting a little bit worse, right? But then you see the Bears making moves, and you see the Lions making moves and staying relative.
Yep.
Now the Bears, now they have 3 good wide receivers.
Yeah.
They have Darnell Mooney, who they had to start off. Then they traded for Chase Claypool before the trade deadline, and now they have DJ Moore.
Yeah, now Fields has some receivers to be able to pass the ball to now.
And they've already signed a bunch of people on the defensive side, and they've already signed, I believe, 2 offensive linemen to big deals. Now, they've had the most cap space for this offseason, so I expected a lot of moves from the Bears.
Yeah, they were saving it up to this occasion for the Packers to really start to fall off.
Yeah, and I tell you what, they're doing it at the right time.
Great time. Now, absolutely great for them.
Now, I got to go back and the Aaron Rodgers news looming. We talked about this last week, but are you in the mindset that, damn, like this like really actually might happen?
Yeah. I'm in that mindset right now. I mean, realistically, and you know, I've talked about it on the show. I've been in that mindset for a while.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much now at this point loves my quarterback. So we're gonna have to find out how that goes. Yep. We talked about it before. How that's gonna go. What I think he should do. What I think the Packers should do. But now we're starting to actually get to that line where Rodgers may cross over to new territory.
Yeah.
As a non-Green Bay Packer. So
but hey, you'll be able to see him.
We'll be able to see him here in the state of New York.
And he'll still be in green.
And he will still be in green. Honestly, I won't be angry if he becomes a Jet. I will not.
I think it'll be good for the Jets. I think at that point they are a contender in that division.
Yeah, they're definitely a contender now.
You know, and I didn't even bring this up earlier. I watching Pat McAfee show today while trying to get the information on all the signings, right? They had talked about, you know, the Miami Dolphins making all these moves. The Jets staying good, and possibly getting Aaron Rodgers. The Bills, they haven't done anything besides lose people.
Yeah.
And Patriots haven't done anything.
No.
They haven't done squat.
All they've had is McCurdy retire.
Honestly, the way that things are looking right now, I'm predicting that the New England Patriots will finish last in the division. For the first time in years.
I don't even remember the last time that happened, man.
Years. But
Probably before I was born.
I'm sorry. Belichick can only do so much when you really don't have that quarterback, and your defensive side of the ball is, what's keeping your games afloat. It's a problem. And their number one wide receiver, Jacoby Myers, and they're one of their, I would say probably their third wide receiver, from last season, Nelson Aguilar, are free agents.
Yep.
So they hardly got anything going for them right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna have to end up signing either Damian Harris. Damian Harris is a free agent. So there's one of their running backs gone. They have Ramondre, but they're gonna have to pay him. It's interesting times in that in the AFC East. But going back to the Panthers trade with the Bears, now they have the number 1 overall pick. They need a quarterback, and the word is that Frank Reich, the coach, and the QB coach Josh McCown love C.J. Stroud. Now, coming from me, I am not happy. I'm not happy because since we've started the show, I've preached how much I want the Colts to go after C.J. Stroud, and that, keep reiterating that C.J. Stroud is that guy. He is going to be a good NFL quarterback. Now, the only thing that can make me happy in this is that he's going to the NFC. If he goes number 1, which I pray he does, because if he goes to the Texans, I'm going to want to off myself. But, now the best hope for the Colts is, maybe with, from the hand of God, he hands the Colts Bryce Young at the 4th overall pick, right? He falls. I don't see it happening, right? But we're most likely going to end up picking Anthony Richardson now. That's most likely our guy. And I talked about this last week that, C.J. Stroud, I really like C.J. Stroud, but if they did not have the opportunity to go after him, I thought that Anthony Richardson had enough boom, that he might not be a bust quarterback and he might have actually some potential. But it puts the Colts in a really rough spot because now they also have to compete with all the teams that are trying to trade up to the number 3 pick in the draft with the Cardinals. And there's teams that need quarterbacks. And the Colts are in a stuck position because we might end up paying the same amount that, the team that has picked 15 in the draft, has to pay for the 3rd overall pick. So it puts the Colts in a really, really sticky predicament. And I'm hoping, I'm just hoping for success. That's all I'm hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm hoping for.
That's all you can really hope for. Some kind of good light, some kind of beacon.
That's all I can really hope for. And, next week on the show, I'm sure that we'll have many more signings to go through for the NFL and many more things, news-wise that have happened throughout the week, as this is the start of free agency. And this is really where things for the NFL get spicy before the draft.
Yep.
So this is where, the NFL is going to start to kick off again. So I'm excited for it. Excited to at least hear some football news, right?
Mm-hmm.
But moving over to another sport here, hockey, right? Now, the end of the season's coming soon.
Yep.
Right? I believe we talked about this last podcast on the last episode. Now, the season ends 1st or 2nd week of April?
Yeah, I believe it's the 1st week of April. I think it may go towards the 2nd week, but that is it. Literally, the beginning of April is the end of the regular season of hockey. They are down to the wire. The last,
they're
20 games. They're under 20 games.
They're down to the
go.
willy-nilly.
They are.
They're down to crunch time.
And we're gonna go over it. I have the standings up. We're gonna go over it and really, kind of give a taste of what the playoffs are really gonna look like. I mean, obviously, we're gonna go with the big news. the Boston Bruins have finally lost 10 games. And guess who they lost their 10th game to?
Who was it?
The Detroit Red Wings.
Oh,
they beat them 3-2. I saw that and I was like, oh, they lost to Detroit. Detroit's not a bad team though. I will have to say, but yes, the Boston Bruins have clinched the playoff spot though, so they are. Yeah, they've already punched their ticket to get to Lord Stanley Cup.
They now have over 50 wins on the season. Correct?
Yes, they do. 50-10-5,
which is crazy.
Which is absolutely insane. But 105 points.
Now, as we talked about the standings, I really want to ask you because you're more the hockey savant than I am. How do you see the standings playing out? For the rest of the month and finalizing with the end of the season.
So realistically, in the East right now, I'm more than likely to think it's set. Really, for me, it's who's going to finish first in the Metropolitan Division between the top two teams. And that's Carolina and New Jersey. Both are really freaking good. And
we talked about Jersey last week.
Yeah, they're still raging hot, man. Both have 94 points right now. Both are tied for the first place. New Jersey gets the second place spot for the point differential. And the New York Rangers are in third. Now, behind them is Pittsburgh, and they are number one on the wild card right now. They could take that third place spot if the Rangers somehow just don't have it for the rest. Yeah, if they just don't have it.
Yeah.
But they can make the wild card. But realistically, that's really the only division where I think it's going to maybe fluctuate.
Okay.
But the Atlantic is, I don't think, going anywhere. You have the Boston Bruins, obviously, in first place with 105. You have Toronto with 88 points, only 17 losses.
That's a massive gap of points.
Massive gap of points.
That is crazy.
But if you think of that massive gap, you go look at Tampa Bay, who's in third. They have 84 points on the season. Then the next one is Florida. They only have 73. So they're 11 points behind Maple Leafs. Or Lightning. So same thing, and with the Rangers, man, they were gonna have to just crumble at the end of the season. They're gonna have a bad stretch of 15 games, which I don't see happening. Realistically, that Eastern Division right now, man, the Eastern Conference, man, the Toronto and Atlanta, or Metropolitan and Atlantic, I think is going to stay put. I think the Hurricanes, Devils, and Rangers will take the top three, and Bruins, Maple Leafs, Lightning will take the top three for their division. Now, the wild card, though, I will say, is up for grabs.
Yeah, it usually
a lot of teams are in it. Still in it, man. Like I mentioned, you got Pittsburgh, who has been on a tear as of late for the last few games. They've won 2 in a row, so now they got 78 points. The New York Islanders are still behind them in second. They are in that playoff spot still, in that last playoff spot, and they have 76 points, so they're still right there. However, if you look at the next 5 teams, they're still they're all there. And it's really going to have to be if they can be better than the Islanders. And that is Florida with 73 points, Capitals with 71, Senators with 70, Sabres with 69, and same thing for Detroit after that falls off. So realistically,
that is going
all
to be
those 6 teams have a chance to go to have a huge chance to go to the playoffs.
That's going to be a wild
it's going to be
wild.
Wow. So for hockey fans, man, strap up. It is going to be absolutely insane for that wild card. And if you're New York Islanders fans, just hope that they just keep it up. Hope that they keep up the winning just a little bit longer.
Hope that they could at least stay alive.
Literally, and they got a big schedule up ahead of them. So realistically, man, like I said, it's up for grabs.
Yeah.
Really, any of those teams can take that second spot. And first as well.
It's true.
Pittsburgh is only 2 points above the Islanders, and they're only 5 points above the Panthers. So everyone's got a shot. They really do, all the way down to Detroit. 7 teams, man. But then, you got the bottom, which are basically out of it. The Philadelphia Flyers, Montreal Canadiens, and the poor Columbus Blue Jackets. Signing Johnny Gaudreau did not work out for them whatsoever.
No, it did not.
Worst team in NHL. Literally, on paper. 20 wins, that's it.
Yeah.
They only have 20 wins. They have almost 40 losses. They haven't even cracked 50 points yet. So it's not looking good for Columbus, Ohio. Now on to the Western Conference. This is actually me just actually looking at it for the first time. Not even close to the amount of talent that they've had, or success rather, that they've had in the Eastern Conference. The highest set of points, still pretty good. It's the Vegas Golden Knights with 88.
Okay.
Now compared to like the 105, the 94, the 94, the 88, that's where they're up with. Now, they have those 88 points in their Pacific Division. Behind them, the Kings were still doing very good. They got 85. They're 38, 20, and 9. And the Seattle Kraken, 81 points. They are in a playoff spot. Now, I will say, though, that we'll get to the wild card. That third place spot is going to be up for grabs because there are 2 teams behind them that I think are still very good teams that can take that spot. And same thing with second place, really. So, looking at that, I can definitely see some fluctuation within the Pacific Division. Central Division, you still got the Dallas Stars up in first place, but only 1 point ahead of the Minnesota Wild, who made some very great moves at the trade deadline. They got 3 big names to really help them out. 2 forwards and a defenseman to really help out their top lines. And then the Winnipeg Jets with 79 in third place. And the team behind them is Nashville with 73 points. So they could take that third place spot. But there's a bit of a drop there for me looking at it. So I would like to say that I think Winnipeg will probably stay there. Same thing with Dallas and Minnesota. So really that's like the only division in like the Western Conference that I think may stay. But going to the wild card, it's not as big as the Eastern's wild card, but they're still really up for grabs, the both first and second place spot of the wild card. Edmonton has number 1 in the wild card right now with 80 points, and Colorado with 78. Now going back to the Pacific Division, Kraken have 81 compared to the 80 and 78. So realistically, Edmonton, Colorado, and Seattle are going to fluctuate for this last line of the regular season of taking third place. I really don't know who will take it. All teams aren't really on a big streak right now, especially in their last 10 games. They've been pretty even. I will say Colorado has been the best of the bunch. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10 games. Edmonton being 6-4-0, and Seattle 5-4-1. So they're starting to fall a little bit. So I will say that Edmonton and Colorado, I think, are going to take that third place spot. I don't think the Kraken are going to stay around in the top 3 in the division for very long, but they're going to get the they're going to get the wild card spot.
Okay.
I absolutely think that they'll get a wild card spot, but not as high of a seed as they would like.
Okay.
And then you got Nashville, you got Smashville in third place in the wild card, tied with Calgary, 73 points. So they're still in it. And then you got St. Louis with 63 and Vancouver with 61. Those guys are not really in it right now. The Blues have not been doing well in their last 10 games, 3-5-2. I will say Vancouver's been doing well in their last 10 games. Man. And they're actually on a 4-game winning streak, but still, out of the third place spot of the wild card, they're well over 10 points down. So I will say the top 4 teams in that wild card are up for grabs for the top spot. And I think if Smashville and Calgary can really amp it up, Smashville's been doing pretty good though. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. They won 2 in a row. Calgary won the other night, and they're 4-4-2, so they're kind of even right now. They had dropped. They were in that third place spot for a while, but Nashville's taken over. I don't really see much change in that whole wild card as a whole compared to the East. But the top 4 teams are what's going to fluctuate. Okay. And Edmonton and Colorado are the most fluctuating. They're one of those teams is going to take the third spot in the wild, the Central Division or Pacific Division rather. So it's getting down to that wire, man. And all these moves that all these teams made for the trade deadline are panning out. Some aren't. But hey, listen, you still got a little over 15 games left in the regular season.
It's coming down to the wire, people.
Can change, and the Eastern Conference is those are the teams you're gonna want to watch. Those are the teams you're gonna want to watch. Absolutely.
So before we change topics here, I just want to say, some breaking NFL news from Ian Rappaport. The Giants are signing Colts linebacker Bobby Okereke. He's a Colt fan. I'm not happy.
Wow.
Good move by the Giants.
It is a great move.
Solid lines. It really solidifies their, the interior of their linebacker core. So I think it's a good play for them. I don't think it's so well for the Colts. They rely on these, kind of spot play guys on defense. You're gonna play, 10 snaps. Those 10 snaps are, your time to shine type of thing. And I really just don't see how that plays out most times for the Colts. But, hey, is what it is. Wild times in the NFL.
And by the way, before we move on from hockey as well, I didn't forget the Rangers, too. I don't know if I had mentioned the Rangers. They have 84 points in third place. But like I said, I don't think it's going to change. I think it's going to be Carolina, New Jersey, and the Rangers in that top three.
Let's just hope that both New York teams can keep up the pace.
Yep.
That's just all we can hope. Now, moving on to one of our favorite segments here, a recurring segment, Ashley's outrageously random questions.
Mm-hmm.
People, this is time where we like to get a little silly and put our input out there. For those who have been here before and those who are new, this segment we receive questions from my wife Ashley. She comes up with some very random questions, and most of them are very, very random. And we read 10 of them to ourselves, answer them to ourselves, and then we're gonna leave one question right here for you in the audience to mention there. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you led last week.
I think I did.
With the first question. So I'm going to shuffle these up real quick. But I also kind of want to say that maybe before we start, possibly want to have a little hot cocoa cookie mix.
Oh my goodness. I haven't even done that yet. I drank almost all my hot cocoa.
Yeah, I know. I'm coming down to the nitty gritty of mine. Oh.
Not sponsored by Chips Ahoy.
Not sponsored indeed, but we're going to break them out because we want them. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's...
Sorry, Mom, Dad.
Indeed. Dink it.
Better off anyway.
Dink it. Oh, yeah, that is magical right there. People, if you want to see magic, hot chocolate and...
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Wow.
Boom, boom, boom. Woo, that is good. Oh, my God.
That is scrumptious.
Holy moly, that is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. I'm a little flustered here. Ooh, it's getting hot.
I mean,
whew.
You're hot.
No. Right back at you there. All right. Question numero uno. Now, hey, before I read this off, just because the last question is for you guys does not mean we don't want your input for these questions as well. So please, if you're watching this now live or if you're watching this after on the recording, please leave a comment, put your input into the chat. We want to hear it. Question number 1. Would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf? Now, I think that is a good question. I have to say a werewolf because I feel like I'd rather be a dog than be alone in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, at least what you can do is turn into a werewolf at night, and then you're at least a normal human being at day.
Yeah.
So, I'll say a werewolf too, or a vampire, because I don't know, all you do is just want to suck people's blood as a vampire.
You need blood to survive. You could eat anything when you're werewolf.
Yeah, you can pretty much really eat anything when you're a werewolf. So.
It's fantastic. Yeah, we're gonna do another dunkgasm. Oh boy, it's people. It's so fantastic. I can't even.
Harmony. It's a symphony of cinnamony, chocolatey cookie deliciousness.
If you haven't seen Food Wars, it's when the leader guy, where it's like his power is when he gets blown away by a dish, his pants come off.
That's what's happening to us right now.
Yes, indeed.
Ooh, who are you most like in Harry Potter?
Ooh.
Who do you think you're most like in Harry Potter?
That is a good question.
That is a very good question.
Oh man, that is a. Okay, so I feel like I could have two inputs to this. And I'll give both inputs to it. I could see myself as Snape in the sense of I really like really in the shadows. I really don't like I call myself an introvert. Like, you know, I don't like going out. I like hanging out with my friends indoors, you know, playing video games and stuff like that. But then I also feel like Neville and quirky and nerdy and, you know, get made fun of because, you know, in Adam's class, I like to interact with him, you know, like whatever. But I feel like I could be compared to both of those characters.
I don't know, maybe Ron for me.
I see Ron for you, yeah.
Right.
I really do.
Like, you know, just a side guy that kind of just does his own thing.
Yeah.
You know, he's not flashy whatsoever.
No.
But he has his moments.
Yes.
He will absolutely be the underdog when he needs to be. You know, and a bit clumsy. So I'd say that I probably most relate to Ron.
I will say though, I try to think like Hermione does. I try to, but normally doesn't happen the way I want it to. Good question. Good question indeed. I like it. All right. Question number 3. Will you give each other a compliment? You're the sexiest man alive.
Oh. You went for the big gun!
No, on the personal note, seriously, I want you to actually, like, hear this. People fucking care about you, right? Try not to get flustered when you're with your friends, because all your friends want to do is help you. And that's all we want to do, right? We all want to have a good time. But on the real, man, you know, we gotta be able to not tear each other's throats out. And we really don't.
We really don't.
But there are times where, you know, we, you know, might get a little frustrated with, you know, one of our friends or whatever. Just, you know, we gotta be careful not to lose our cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like you said, like, I do like that though, because it gives us a reminder, even though realistically we may not need it, just because you know, we're still really cool with each other anyway. But I do appreciate that little you know, reminder. You know, that is very nice. And on a real level, you know, from me to you, I mean, you're just always there for me, dude. Like, no matter what, you reach out to me all the time. You know, I can't thank you enough for that. You know, you're just you're very caring for the people that you love, and it shows. So I'll absolutely say that in regards to our friendship, and you know, we've been together for so long, and just you know, just appreciate the crap out of each other, and you know, we love the things that we do.
Take my friend. Take.
I told you that's not even the tip of the iceberg of if I were to make a speech. If I was going to make a speech at your wedding, you were going to cry. So, and that's delicious.
Oh my god. That's crazy good. I'm gonna have to save a little bit of hot chocolate. We might have. Hey, Ashley, if you're watching this, you gotta come down and try this.
Right?
You gotta come down here and try.
You really should have saved some for yourself so you can try it.
Yeah, really. Oh my god.
Okay, so.
Fucking, I love you. And hi, Mom.
Yeah, hi, Mom. I believe this is a question in regards of a certain cup The question is, who do you think will win the World Cup? I think she means, who do you think will win the World Baseball Classic?
So, I would like to say U.S., but then I look at team like Dominican Republic, and
I honestly
shit my pants.
I honestly thought that Dominican Republic. Oh my God! We have a visitor.
Yeah, you gotta try this. Seriously. Yeah, seriously, try this. Wave to the crowd. Say hi.
I fucking love this food. Come on, big baby, let's cook.
And bye, Danny. So, out of those two teams, right, I lean more towards the Dominican Republic than I do the U.S., but bias being I'm saying U.S.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, she's mine.
You know what? I'm going to just go with a wild card here, even though they really aren't and they haven't been this entire tournament, but they could lose. I think Japan.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, honestly,
I think Japan might win it.
So,
They've shown nothing but success. They've shown almost no faults. They haven't done anything wrong so far. I mean, yeah, if you think about it, that could just mean that, like, oh, they're about to crack soon. But I don't see that happening. I really don't.
I don't know if I see that happening
I really
either,
don't,
honestly.
but it also could depend on if playing overseas will affect them.
Yeah, the travel time is going to end up killing a lot of people,
It will.
I definitely agree with that.
It's either them or Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
I'm
so
or
hard.
it's literally, for me, it's Japan, Dominican, and then USA.
It's hard. I would say if I had to put another team in there, I would probably say that it would probably be Japan, but on a close end as well, Puerto Rico.
They could step it up. They're off to a little bit of a tough start, but they have a very good team.
But if they end up making it past this round, I think that they could have a shot at it.
Yep.
I think that they're a dark horse and possibility.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question. Oh, this is an interesting one. What is your favorite sound?
Ooh, there's a lot of favorite sounds that I like.
I don't know. I'm gonna be a little vague, but then I'm gonna sum it.
Okay.
Saxophone.
It's a great instrument.
But like jazz saxophone.
Now, is it like big band jazz or like smooth jazz?
Smooth jazz saxophone.
Mm-hmm. Nice, like little smooth jazz, or like kind of like 80s vaporwave jazz with the sax.
Yeah, I love it.
My dad can agree with that. He loves the sax.
But then another one, I don't know what it's called, but the instrument where you like tap the strings, like Elijah Nang uses it in some of his songs.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but I love it.
There's like a Chinese instrument. It's like called a guzheng or gezheng or something like that. It is like that guitar, like string thing, like it is a very nice instrument. I mean, if we're gonna go to the like instrument route, you know me, I love the sound of an organ. I also do actually like the sound of a piano a lot.
Yeah.
Like I do appreciate piano keys, especially the lower. Like I love bass.
Yeah, I mean,
I love bass.
You can't. I love a good piano, man. I really do love.
Like
a good
I'm
piano.
a big fan of like when songs get deep into bass when they use the lower tones. That is definitely a favorite of mine. So like basses, like when you hear like in like metal songs or something, or hard rock songs, when they get into that low like sound is really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically me, like music wise. For other worldly wise things, the sound of a baseball hitting a mitt, perfect. Like just a nice snap of the mitt.
I will say, if I had to do something other than like something involved with music, I would definitely say the crack of a bat.
Yeah,
I love the crack of a wood bat. Like
that
perfect kind of swing on a wood bat. I love it.
It is so satisfying. And then you can go into like I don't know, like video games. I'm trying to think. Like there are many sounds that I've liked in video games. Oh, you know what? We'll go into anime. You know that sound in Dragon Ball Z whenever they get shocked, and it's just dun-dun.
Like the.
Like not like but like it's a lower tone, like it literally just goes dun-dun.
I think so.
Yeah. It gives me chills every time I hear it. It's very very it's very very good.
Gotta love it.
But that's not even there's many sounds that I like. There are a lot of sounds that literally like just trigger dopamine.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, yeah. Honestly, it's really true. There are a lot of sounds that I could very relate to. Like they just instantly like spike dopamine in my brain.
Right.
Like on all real notes.
Mm-hmm. Very very good. That was your question, right? That was your question, right? All right, let me eat a cookie.
Oh man, that combo is amazing.
I love sizzling bacon.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh yeah,
And
I mean,
and
honestly,
sautéing onions.
Honestly, I won't even just say like frying bacon, like just like kind of searing anything.
Right.
I kind of just like that sound.
Mm-hmm. And white noise.
True.
Like you can count that as a favorite
Yeah.
noise, like a fan, air conditioner, a refrigerator hum.
Well, I've just been told that I sound like Plankton from SpongeBob. Shout out my sister Sophia.
Well, Krabs, looks like I spilled lipstick in your Valentino bag. Plankton! Squidward! Mr. Squidward!
All right, next question.
The formula, Krabs! Here, I'll answer this question as Plankton. Well, it was a long one. Do you think you still will play Avatar Frontiers and of Pandora? Set to release in April 23, 24?
It's the video game that is coming out on Avatar, and when it does release, yes, I will be playing.
I had no idea about this.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, my favorite movie is Avatar, the original Avatar.
Now, we're not talking about Avatar Last Airbender, we're talking
Yes.
about the major motion picture Avatar.
Yes, Avatar. That is my favorite movie of all time, right? There's nothing more I want to just be part of the Na'vi people, right? Like, but I will definitely play that game when it comes out.
Yeah,
For sure.
That sounds very interesting. I didn't know they
You
were coming out.
imagine being in like a kind of open Pandora world?
Yeah.
That'd be incredible.
Seeing all like the creatures and animals that are on the planet, and seeing all the plants and stuff.
Ooh,
That'd be
having
pretty
like a major storyline of invasion and shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
but like,
be good.
Now, would you want a human invasion or another alien invasion?
What if? Oh man, because in the movies it's human invasion.
It's human invasion. But what if it's another alien race invasion?
I think that human invasion, it opens more of a storyline because I feel like there's already a lot of things that we can copy from the human technology. But I tell you what, if it was an alien invasion, like, and there's like a planetary invasion of Pandora, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
that's gonna be fun.
That'd be very cool.
So, talking about video games here, this question: what is your favorite video game?
Oh, there's too many. There's too many video games, man. So many good ones.
There's a.
It's such a tough question, man.
There is a lot. I will say that. Man, there is a lot of.
I could narrow it down to one, based on nostalgic purposes and the fact that I know that I played the absolute crap out of this game. And it will be Power Bros 2008.
That was a good game. That was a really good game.
I played the absolute crap.
That was a really good game.
So many franchises and seasons and career modes. I went so deep in that.
Now, like, nostalgic mode, right? I would say Modern Warfare 2. Like, the original Modern Warfare 2.
Yep.
Nostalgic-wise for me. But...
yeah, Black Ops 2 is up there for me.
But I would say my favorite video game after Modern Warfare 2, because it's just so nostalgic for me, Detroit Becoming Human.
That's a good game.
I really love, like, every choice you make determines the outcome of the story. I really like that aspect of the game. So it's it really got me, and the storyline is great.
Yeah.
So
I could also for me, staying sports, I could say MLB 10 the show, because I remember playing the crap out of that game as well. I had made so many rosters in that.
If I was to say one, Madden 09.
Madden 09, that's another good one. I used to play on the Wii. Non-sports games wise, I never really played many. I usually would just watch my brother play them. But Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets on the Xbox.
I never played it.
I played it, and I loved that game.
That was the one where you were just flying, right? Or did it go through the story of...
It went through the story.
Harry.
Yeah. No, it was literally just Chamber of Secrets. And it was great. I loved the soundtrack of that game. I will say the graphics were okay for its time. But
I believe I believe Chamber of Secrets no, I'm sorry, Sorcerer's Stone first released on the PS1.
It was first released on the PS1 because we had a PS1. It was Nick's, and we had that game originally, and the graphic change from PS1 to the Xbox PS2 era was very good because we had an original Xbox. We didn't have a PS2. We had a PS2 over my uncle's, which now I have here.
I remember Nick's old Xbox.
Yeah. I also remember, I don't remember which game it was. It was the one that took place in New Orleans, but one of the Tony Hawk games.
Oh!
I forget which one it was.
Dude, Skate 3.
Skate 3 was a fun game.
Oh, that was such a fun game to
I think
play.
it was Tony Hawk Underground.
But
was it Underground 2?
Oh, no, dude, the original was... Oh, my God, those games were good. I remember, begging my mom to buy those for me on the PS2. Begging.
Mm-hmm. It was Underground 2. For me, Tony Hawk Underground 2, because New Orleans was sick. I loved playing in New Orleans.
Oh, man. Oh, those were legendary games.
Legendary games, man. I miss those days when games were just simple.
know.
Oh, and Spider-Man 2.
Oh, dude, on PS2?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I used to play that over bets.
Dude, I had that game, and I believe that my mom got it from Beth.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, all I played was just the simulation mode where you were in the Matrix on the 3 building tops, right? And just people would spawn.
Yeah.
You'd beat them up. I would do that for hours.
Mm-hmm. And also Spyro.
No, I was never a big Spyro guy.
I actually liked playing Spyro on the PS2. That was a fun game.
Did you end up getting it on the Switch?
No, I don't think so.
They came out with a new Spyro game on the Switch, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But
I do remember, just going back to daycare, they had the PS2. I would play Spider-Man 2 all the time and Spyro.
Do you remember them playing Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot. That's another great game.
Do you remember them playing
that's another favorite of mine.
Room?
Oh my god, I love Crash Bandicoot.
I remember watching Ashley. I remember watching Ashley play that, and finishing it. Oh man.
And those games were tough.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot was tough.
Yeah, I could have never.
But I loved it. I just love Crash. He was great. I can't. I feel so bad for forgetting about those games. Crash Bandicoot, man. Beautiful.
So we're down to our last couple here.
Down to the last 4?
3.
3? Oh wow!
And then one out to the audience.
And then one out to the audience. And since I already have this one open, I'm going to call this one. When do you think you will see what we call futuristic, meaning flying cars, communication with aliens?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
When do you think we will see what we call futuristic? When do you think we'll see a futuristic world that everyone in the past had always just predicted would happen, like flying cars and communicating with aliens?
Not in our kids' lifetime, and probably not in their kids' lifetime.
I will agree, but it's a lot closer than you think.
Yeah,
I like to say, but
yeah. When you look at time, it's 2023.
Yeah.
Right. When you look at time, the U.S. has only been around since 1770.
76.
I was about to say 77.
Well, technically it's 77.
But
if you actually look at history, it was actually finalized in 77. But
1776 is
still not that long of a time, and we have seen a major change in America, and
we have
the culture of human beings. Really, all the technology that we have now
you gotta think, flying you basically have to compact a plane into something the size of that couch.
Yeah.
You know, and
Or even this chair.
Or the chair, right? That's got to be insanely impossible to do. I mean, not impossible, but I mean, like, it's got to be insanely hard to do that.
We just don't have the technology to be able to, like you said, make something powerful compact.
And, you know...
Unless it's, like, a really, really powerful element, but it's going to be a deadly element to us. So, like...
Yeah, I mean... but, like...
Who knows when we even take the chance to do that?
Early 1900s was when, you know, some of these major buildings were starting to be first built. So 120 years from, you know, that point, what other, you know, besides the internet, you know, the cell phone, what other, like, major, like, scientific, you know, things have we done to better this world?
We're able to make technology and turn it into a smaller form factor, but that doesn't mean that we're going to be able to, like you said, be able to take something that takes a lot more and make it compact.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
But if you think of the other way about it, we took something that was a lot more, which was the computer, which literally took an entire room. Yeah. Now it's this.
Yeah.
It's the size of this.
I mean,
like, it could happen. It could.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just what will we use and what, like, can we make it so that it isn't harmful to us?
Yeah, I definitely...
For it to be able to work. For us to be able to work with it.
I don't know. I'd say by...
I like to think maybe, like...
I don't know. I kind of want to hope that by, you know, 2300, you know, I want to hope that, you know, there'd be some kind of advancement into that kind of futuristic type of thing, yeah. But... you know, flying hover cars and flying monorails and, you know, that's a long ways off.
It is a long way.
You know, when you look at, like, a sci-fi, you know, movie, you look, like, Star Wars, you see all the flying hover cars and stuff. They got trains that are just flying through the city. You know, stuff like that is possibly impossible. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. Yeah. I gotta send out a text here. Be ready.
But we do have 2 more questions to go for us. Yes. Then, your question at home. Yes. We would love your feedback.
And we still, to these questions here, we still would love to hear your feedback. So, you know, feel free to drop it in the comments. If it's funny enough, maybe we'll go ahead and read it out. But, you know, please, be interactive. All right, my last question. World Cup. Do you think the U.S. has a good chance of winning? So, World Baseball Classic, we'll go there. Mm-hmm. Yes, they do.
They do.
I think that they have, you know, probably one of the best chances to win, you know.
Looking at them on paper.
Yeah, on paper. But seeing them play as a team and playing, you know, compact baseball, we really haven't seen a ton of it.
We haven't seen that success and talent that we were expecting.
Yeah. I mean, when you got a roster full of people like that, you know, you expect, you know, games 11, 12, 13 runs scored. You expect, you know, 2, 3 runs to be scored on the opposing side. You know, so it's you know, difficult. Yeah. But, yes, absolutely, they have a shot at winning.
Mm-hmm. All right. The last question on my side, and then it'll be yours. But for now...
Question.
That's not right.
Question number 10.
That's right. Question number 10. What is the best sport and why? It's really just like up to opinion.
It is. I would say it's definitely up to opinion, but if
for what you've been experienced with,
you know, I'm gonna look at it from the marketing side.
Mm-hmm.
The MLB All-Star Game, you know, this last season was the lowest watched All-Star Game in its history. You know, since they've been, you know, televising it, right, like publicly.
Realistically, though, all these sports All-Star games.
But I mean, hear me out. The NFL, their Pro Bowl, was the next closest. And I believe that there was about 14 million people that watched the All-Star game, right? There was like 5 million people that watched the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That is a large gap of people.
Yeah.
And baseball is going. You gotta. Now this is biased from playing baseball and experiencing baseball, knowing baseball, right? It's a long, long, long season.
And that's a lot of the...
You got to be able to endure it. You got to be able to compete
Yeah.
the entire season. And then after the season's done, you got another month and a half of playoffs.
And people think that the regular season doesn't matter. It does.
It does.
The beginning of the season does matter. Everyone's start and second, third, fourth, and fifth months are all important.
It's, I mean...
It literally changes the way you play the entire season.
You really
Every
have
game.
to be prepared to play it. But I think that the best sport, I think personally, to watch, I would say, is hockey.
And people should watch it more. People should try to learn the game a little more. Because it is so exciting to watch.
Yeah.
It really is.
It really is exciting to watch. But, what's the hardest sport? I think it would probably be compared to, baseball and soccer. Soccer goes along with the endurance, like you have to endure the entire season, but you have to endure 90 plus minutes of just straight running.
You're constantly running the whole game.
You're
You're
constantly
not
moving.
stopping until half.
Yeah.
And then even after that, you're still going.
Yeah.
Barely any breaks. Time's
Yeah.
always running. It never stops.
It really doesn't. It does not stop. Man, but I love football so much. It's hard for me not to be so biased about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And same thing with me with baseball.
But I do think that the hardest. I think that the hardest sport would still be baseball. I mean, hitting something that's this big, going 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about this? How about another interpretation of this? You're trying to hit a cylinder onto a sphere square.
Yeah. God, that's weird. When you say
Try to comprehend that, non-baseball
that's
fans.
weird. Like when you say
You're
that.
trying to hit a cylinder bat onto a spherical ball squared.
That is. It makes complete sense.
To us, because we know
it
what
makes complete sense.
we
but
know-
that is weird.
to non-baseball fans.
That is weird.
That's a lot to take in, and
That almost blew my mind.
I'm gonna give you some homework to do. Figure that out.
Man,
All right, man.
Oh man.
That is it for our questions that we read for you guys and our thoughts. And of course, we will love your thoughts in the comments below to the people who are watching
Absolutely.
this.
And if you
In the
didn't get,
future?
and if you didn't get one of the questions, you didn't hear some of the questions, please feel free to go back and give us your input.
Yeah.
Is a good question.
That is a very good question. Which movie are you most excited to see this year? There's a lot of good movies coming out.
All right, so time to
Honestly, yeah.
bring up IMDb here.
Literally, man, I'm gonna have to look into this. Did you know that it actually means something? Like IMB, what is it again? IMBD.
IMDb. Oh yeah.
It actually,
No, I didn't.
it actually stands for something. I thought it was just IMBD, and I'm gonna have to look it up again because I don't freaking remember.
Well,
what it is.
if I had to say the one that I'm most excited to watch, it's probably the Black Clover movie. It's coming out on Netflix, but
It stands for Internet Movie Database.
okay.
Did not know that, and guess who told me that? Pat.
Of course you did.
But getting into it.
So I do want to see Creed 3.
Yeah, I know you're excited about Creed 3.
That is something I'm looking forward to.
Have you going to see
John Wick. I'm also looking forward to seeing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, that's one I'm also very interested to see. As well.
The Super Mario. I don't think that's probably the most anticipated movie I'm looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to it though. I am really looking forward to it. I want to see how it goes.
One that I'm really looking forward to is Air, the documentary about the starting of Nike.
Mm.
And
Yes, I remember
getting
seeing
Jordan involved.
John Wick Chapter 4.
Yep. Obviously very excited for that, being a huge John Wick guy. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Volume 3. Fast 10 is coming out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me look at the rest of this real quick. A lot of these kind of just look meh for me.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to put my 2 cents into that.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Didn't mean to put you off like that.
Did you say Spider-Man?
That's one of the few that I'm like really excited for.
Across the Spider-Verse. Yes. I'm absolutely excited about that. There's a new Transformers movie.
Yes, there's a new Transformers movie.
Rise of the Beasts. That's very interesting. Indiana Jones.
I would say the top three. I'll say a top 3 for the movies I'm most excited for this year. I would say Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Oppenheimer.
I was literally gonna say that.
Oppenheimer, and then I would throw in. Man, it's tricky. It's tricky, but man, oh man, it's. I'm just gonna say Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because, apparently it could end the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. So, anticipating that fallout.
There is a new Hunger Games movie in November.
I'm interested about that, but I really don't know what it's about.
Me neither.
I really don't know what it's about. So, I don't know whether to be excited or worried.
There is a Wonka movie. December.
I feel like I know the guy who was actually playing him. Well, at least heard of the guy who's playing him.
I will say
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. So, Kung Fu Panda next year. I will say my top 3 are probably Guardians of the Galaxy, Mario, and really it's like. I would love to see Oppenheimer, even though I'm not the biggest fan of doom and gloom kind of shit. I would love to see.
Well, I mean,
an actual nuke going off in a movie.
Well, I mean, I honestly, I feel like that's probably what I'm most excited for, mainly because it's being shot for IMAX.
Yeah.
Right, like the Creed movie. It has a really good cast.
And very good cast.
I love Cillian Murphy. So I'm really excited to see that movie Oppenheimer.
Yeah, he's got
but
a good last name.
It comes out, later in the year.
Yeah, that comes out later in the year.
I believe October maybe? September?
I'm in September. I'm in October. Did I pass it? I must have passed it.
Let's see. I have it up here.
July 21st. That's when that comes out. Oh, and Barbie. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm not really looking. I mean,
that's gonna be controversial as fuck.
I mean, Margot Robbie, right? I like Margot. She's a good actress, but I'm just not looking forward to the movie. Yeah. I'm not enthused by it. I feel like it's.
I've already heard the plot.
To be made for 5-year-old kids.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. I just saw that literally the same day as Oppenheimer comes out. But Guardians of the Galaxy, Mario, and I'll say Spider-Man.
So, hey, in chat, please leave your input. Once again, the question was, what movie are you most anticipating to see this year? What movie are you most excited to see this year?
I'm seeing that with you guys, right?
The D&D movie? D&D? Absolutely.
Okay, I
hope that Mr. Slowmo 21 and Abby is come along for it as well. I wish.
And his brother.
I wish that fat Jolly guy was here.
I wish Jolly would be able to watch it with us.
And shout out fat Jolly guy for being the best DM for D&D of all time.
So good.
He is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. I want to hear at least one other opinion in chat. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
and make sure, if you're watching this afterwards and we're not live, please drop a comment. I'm sure that we'll be much willing to either agree with you or, leave us, tell you how we feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
And once we get, maybe one more input, we got a new segment coming up. And it's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah, it'll be a fun one. Absolutely.
It's gonna be good. I will say, you gotta take them away from me. You gotta take them away from me. That's all I gotta.
I will.
Ma, I don't want to eat all your cookies.
I'm actually gonna put them over here.
Yeah, so you can't even get them.
Yeah, so I can.
TMNT.
TMNT. I forgot. Yes,
there's a TMNT movie
there is a new
coming out.
TMNT too. Yeah.
I did not know that.
It's later this year.
Is it going to be another cartoon movie, or is it going to be
I
another
don't
live
think so.
action?
I think it's going to be live action.
Ooh.
Let me see.
Now, the old school live action TMNT movies were fantastic.
They're phenomenal. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
Is Seth Rogen?
It's animated. It's animated. A lot looks like Into the Spider-Verse animation.
Interesting.
Nickelodeon movie.
So
That's still I'd watch that.
I
used to love TMNT.
Yeah, I love TMNT, man.
Michelangelo, baby, he was
CGI.
my guy, man.
So is Seth Rogen? Is he doing one of the voices in it?
I'll have to check the cast.
Or is he
really
possibly producing it?
He is a voice. He's going to be Bebop, who is I believe a new villain.
Okay.
There's a bunch of new villains actually.
Hey,
I forgot about that.
Hey, Splinter, I'm here to kill you.
The cast is actually stacked. The cast is actually stacked, man. You got Jackie Chan playing Master Splinter.
No way!
Jackie Chan is playing Master Splinter.
No way!
John Cena is gonna play a guy named Rocksteady. I believe a new villain. Ice Cube is playing Superfly. Post Malone is playing Ray Fillet.
Who's playing the Turtles?
The Turtles, let's see. So the Turtles are actually going to be teenagers, voiced by actual teenagers, and it is Nicholas Cantu, who's Leonardo, Micah Abbey, who's Donatello, Brady Noon, who's Raphael, and who is Michelangelo? Where's Michelangelo at?
Just hearing that Jackie Chan's going to be Master Splinter, I am going to see that movie.
Right? Oh, Shannon Brown Jr. is going to be playing Michelangelo, but Jackie Chan, John Cena, Ice Cube, Post freaking Malone. Man.
That is great. I'm
And
now excited
Seth Rogen,
for that movie.
Rose Byrne.
I'm now excited for that movie.
I'm very excited as well. Like you said, Master Splinter, Jackie Chan. Oh, I love
dude, he's Master Splinter's. He's the dad, and to see Jackie Chan, the god of, I won't say that, but I feel like he's the dad of Kung Fu, right? Besides the all-time great Bruce Lee.
He's our dad of Kung Fu.
But he's our dad of Kung Fu, and seeing him play that role, I am going.
That's exciting.
Bada bing!
That's exciting.
With the side of Gabagalooza.
All right, so that concludes Ashley's randomly outrageous questions. Thank you very much to the Ash Master.
Thank you, Ash-tastic.
Ikidakimasu. I just have to say that just because it's Ashley.
I was about to say, we don't got no food.
Yeah, well, we had food. She gave us a drink.
Well,
That counts as food.
Sustenance, I guess. All right, well, you want to go ahead and introduce this new segment here, or do you want me to go ahead and take the reins?
I can introduce it. So our new segment is our interpretation of a story time. And we are going to call it, for now, Time to Reminisce.
Time to reminisce.
And what that is literally we will be telling you guys stories about our childhood and life.
Just stories about us and what we've gone through. Some funny things that have happened in the past. The majority of these things are supposed to be comical.
Yep.
To get a good laugh. I'm sure eventually we're gonna want to continue this segment. But I'm sure there might be some, deeper stories that, come up. But, this week we got some funny ones.
Yeah.
We got some good ones.
We do have some good ones. So, first off, in Time to reminisce.
Yeah, man.
The Rainbow.
Now it is actually not called the Rainbow, but to us,
It's the Rainbow.
it's the Rainbow.
And
you want to tell them what the Rainbow was?
Yes, the Rainbow. Mom and Dad, you will remember this as well. We went to a New York Mets game in the rain and cold, and oh my God, it was not a very nice night. And Mom can agree.
We all can agree.
It was a game back in early, I believe, 2014, and I have videos on YouTube on my Mets channel if you want to go check them out. They're all the way back in 2014, so you're gonna have to go into my playlist, my 2014 Mets games playlist. But it was me, AP over here,
Yes.
my mom and dad, my brother Nick, our buddy DJ,
Yep.
and a friend of ours from my mom's job. So 7 of us at a Mets game. We're all sitting in the upper deck left field corner, and we showed up late. I think we showed up like in the second inning, something like that.
Yep.
We were running a little bit behind because we were both still in school, and we're still gathering everybody. And we just went straight to the ballpark, got there as quick as we can, and it was an cold, rainy, damp night.
Oh yeah.
30, like upper 30s, constant spray of
Yeah.
rain and like wind gusts to like 15, 20 miles an hour.
It was cold.
It was cold. And I remember a famous quote from one of the videos that I took from that game that I was taking. I was like, the count of this at bat is, and then DJ goes, "It's cold. That's the count." And I'm like, "Yep, it's cold." I can't agree. I can't disagree. So, oh my God, man! I always remember too when you guys went to go get. I think you guys went to go walk around and
Dude,
like warm up a bit and get hot chocolate.
Yeah, we went to go get hot chocolate, I think, twice that game.
And we saw, I think, Duda hit a home run. Me and
Duda
DJ were like,
hit a home
"Nah, we're
run.
gonna stay. We want to watch the game." Duda hit a home run. Me and DJ
Yeah.
were like, "Yeah! Oh my God, no one's here! Damn it!"
What if you had to take a guess? How many people do you think were in the crowd that night?
Oh my God, it was less than 10,000 people.
Maybe 8,000.
Yeah, it was less.
Yeah, it was
less than 10,000.
It was empty.
It was
and
not.
This is like the beginning of the season, like rainy,
It
cold.
was the diehards who were there that night,
Yeah,
and I was proud to say that I was one of them.
And
oh,
we left that game with hardly any voice.
Oh my God, yeah.
We were.
The reason why we didn't have any voice at the end of that game was because we were just trying to stay warm.
Yeah.
We're trying to stay warm. At least, like, let's get energized. Maybe we'll get a little warmer. And, like, yeah, it helped out a little bit, but it was still freaking frigid.
Yeah,
and,
it was
like,
cold.
Oh my God. And I remember at the 9th inning, we were like, okay, let's go down to, like, the concourse and, like, be ready to leave as soon as this final out is made. And let's walk around a little bit, stand up, and get warm. And the Mets won!
Yay!
The Mets won that night. I think that was, like, the first win of the season, too. It was, like, we started off, like, 0-4 or something like that.
Oh,
We
man.
finally won. And, like, we're like, yeah, oh my God! And then we're like, let's go home!
It was such a cold
Didn't
night.
have any worries about traffic that night, too.
It was such a cold night.
It was so freaking
Oh,
cold.
man.
And like I said, there are videos on my YouTube channel, Matt's Mets, M-A-T-T-S, M-E-T-S, all together, on the channel that you can watch.
I did on my phone. I ended up posting the link to your YouTube in chat, but it's not popping up on our side. So if y'all could see it, y'all got it. But if not, please let us know so we could go ahead and put it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would highly suggest possibly finding some of those videos and just laughing.
Literally, it was so freaking funny. I remember, like, at one part, like, I actually had showed, like, that no one was like, well, basically everybody's gone right now, and then DJ just goes into the frame, yes, sir! And, like, oh, man, remember,
Ashkadu!
yeah, man, we were literally, you'll hear us, not even speaking a language, we were just making noise, because we were just trying to keep warm, and that's, like, I mean, that's not where it started, but, like, me and AP here,
man.
and my brothers, we have our own language.
Yeah.
Literally, and we know what we're saying. And, like,
Yeah.
it just happens that way. And, like, that was one big, like, I'm so glad I captured that, because we can look back at it and go, that was our language, man.
DJ just went, Ashkadu!
No, that was you.
That was me?
That was you, man.
That was me?
DJ was literally just going, ah! Just yelling. And then you're just like, And we're like, I remember Ship 'em Up to Boston was playing because I think Daniel Murphy was hitting, and we're just both going, just trying to like just get our energy up and keep warm. We're all just dancing to the music there. Remember, everybody clap your hands. You're like, oh my god!
Just we were doing everything in our power to stay warm. I believe at one point that your mom was like, huddle up like penguins.
Right?
And we all were like, yeah.
Do you remember, I think you asked my mom, how much was the hot chocolate?
Oh, yeah.
And then Nick goes, $19.99.
Nowadays, yeah.
and then you're like, where'd you get Dunkin'? And mom's like, oh, no Dunkin', just hot chocolate. And you're like, okay, good. I'll be right back. And he just left.
Hey, it was clutch that everywhere was selling hot chocolate that night.
Oh yeah,
it was
every concession stand was selling hot chocolate.
Beautiful, and on cold nights like that, it is needed.
It was so needed, man. And who knows, man? I actually might go since I'm not working April 9th. I may go to the Met game that day because they're playing Miami on a day game, so at least it may be warm. Not a night game like it was then. Who knows?
It's New York.
It is New York. It is New York.
We got another story. So you remember outside of Randy's house, we used to play hockey. You know, I ended up buying the net, right? And then Randy ended up buying the net, right? Yep. And we would just kind of go over, and I would don on, the goalie gear. Nick would sometimes don the goalie gear, and we had our little, puck. It was, one of the plastic balls, right? And, we used to just play out in front of Randy's house like it was nothing, right? A bunch of times there. Well, earlier in the day, me and DJ, infamous friend, he will be talked about throughout these stories. He's one that's pretty consistent in these. But me and DJ went to the mall, as teenagers do. We sat down in the food court, got some Chinese food. I decided, I'm feeling some, beefless rib or boneless rib and some spare ribs, boneless spare ribs, and some lo mein. So I ate that all up. Had a good lunch. Everyone planned on going over to Randy's afterwards, so we just go to Randy's, playing some hockey. Randy's got to go in. He's got to eat. It's fair. Well, me, Nick, DJ, you, we're just standing there, kind of shooting. And we'd all kind of stopped for a minute, just to talk. And, I'm talking to DJ, and Nick takes the hockey stick and takes a shot on net. And let me tell you, it went in. But there was a deflection off of good old Lieutenant Lefty. You remember that lo mein and boneless spare rib I was telling you about? Yet all that came up on the Randy Street.
Oh, God, man, I remember that.
That was it was a doozy. But
that got you like flesh.
Yeah.
On the teabag. Like it literally hit. It didn't like hit a leg or that. Like it literally just went.
It was like a, but it wasn't even like it. It really smacked it. It was more towards the bottom. It was almost like it just skimmed it. But you're a guy. Those like
they still hurt like a
those
bitch.
light like you just miss. Those hurt though, and it was a ball. It was being shot at me with speed, and it felt like I could have had no kids afterwards. Randy was just looking outside, getting ready to eat dinner, and just by chance saw me, on the side, I was right outside of his driveway, and, we were like, well, we can't just leave it here. We're trying to play hockey. So Randy got a cooler from inside and just
dumped the water down the sewer.
And just dumped it to the sewer.
That's what I remember most about that, was literally them taking the cooler out and just water streaming it into the sewer. It was just funny, man.
But literally, like, you saw lo mein noodles, and it was so weird. It was like colored pink. It was so weird. It was
like pink and yellow. Well, it was pink and yellow because of the lo mein, and pink because of the spare ribs.
But you just saw the noodles. Like, some noodles were just there.
They were there. You didn't chew them up enough.
There you go.
God.
Wild people, wild.
It was nuts.
There's some other things that were wild though. Were dude, like hanging out at your house just in general. There's so many stories that we could tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of them take place outside.
Oh yeah,
A
we were
lot of
outside
them.
all the time.
We like when we were kids. You know, definitely not like the kids nowadays, but like
If
you know,
anything, if we were inside, it was in our basement, but barely.
But we were either doing something together, or 9 times out of 10, we were playing some kind of sport inside.
Yep.
Right? Or, you know, filming some kind of YouTube video or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? We were always doing something.
Yeah, but most of the time, we were just out in our driveway,
outside
out in our backyard.
kids. We were sports kids. We would play basketball, football. We had Shamrose Shadeen.
Shamrose Shadeen, baby.
You know, the wiffle ball field that, you know, you guys had and built in the backyard of your house.
For reference, to people who don't know, the field, we named it Shamrock Stadium. Unfortunately, the letters that we wrote out on our wooden scoreboard out in center fell off over time, and it spelled Shamrose Shadeen.
Yes.
And so we kept it that way, and
that
that's
is
what it was
it is forever to be known by. Shamrose Shadeen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but, you know, we practically had our own leagues, and we would make our own leagues with, you know, 3 people to a team.
Nick would set it up. He would literally set everything. He was so good at it.
And, you know, the one where we really, like, went all out with, like, you know, tournament style, league style was basketball in your driveway.
Yeah.
You know?
Same thing with wiffle ball. But basketball, we
but-
really, like...
But, I mean, what made basketball
That was
awesome
insane.
was because we had the scoreboard.
Yeah, we had our scoreboard. It's still here,
You
I
guys
think. I don't think we sold it
legitimately
yet.
have the scoreboard that, like, it was new. You guys could play music on it.
Yeah, it had speakers
Like, it
built
had
into
speakers into it. Like,
Made a crowd
noises,
noise when you put a point
like,
up on the board.
You know, and, you know, we basically had teams. It was you, Randy, Nick versus me, DJ, and Ryan.
Yep.
And that was practically the teams. You know, if one person was missing, Connor Lois would fill in.
Yep.
You know?
I will say, though, like, we were pretty even.
We were
In
pretty
basketball
even.
terms, like, we were a pretty even
You know,
group of
but
guys.
I would say the one downfall, which made you guys better, was that we had DJ. If you screamed at DJ, let's just lay the scene. We're playing basketball, 3v3 in his driveway. DJ, a bigger kid, a little bit taller, but more weight to him, right? So DJ was always the big guy. He was always going to be the one getting the rebounds and trying to put up layups right underneath the hoop, right? So just picture this. You pass DJ the ball, and he's in the post, trying to score on Nick, Randy, whoever, right? All you had to do was just yell at him when he went to go take a shot, and he would chuck it 15 feet in the air. All you would have to do, your DJ's going, he's backing up on the Randy, or on the Nick. Let's just say Nick. He's backing up on the Nick. And then he turns around and goes to lay a hook shot. You know, the old Kareem, right? But instead of Kareem, it's 10 times Shaq, and it's shot into the front lawn.
Shot into the front lawn.
Oh
Shot to
my
our garage
God.
door,
Like-
into the road.
People, like, he would, and we can kind of lean this into football as well. You know, when we would play football over at Randy's house, you know, he would yell, and just chuck the football up, you know, and, you know, he would
It
just
was always to
literally-
you because you went on a long route and he would just yuck it.
chuck it in the air and hope I came down with it. Anytime that when we would play, it was usually 3-on-3, and one person would, you know, guard the quarterback if they wanted to scramble, right? But after a certain amount of time, they could blitz. Well, DJ, if he was ever blitzed, which if DJ was the quarterback on a certain play, he was getting blitzed, and he would just...
I'll never forget him just shouting, just
Dude, literally
ANT, ant! And then
Just
and then
yucking
the ball,
it.
and then just ball and sky. That's
Literally.
all you saw.
Literally. And, you know, we would mostly play in, you know, like, the snow, so it's blending in with the trees filled with snow. Like, I gotta hope I can at least get to it.
You have to admit, there were a few times where he would do that and give you an absolute dime
Absolutely.
for a touchdown.
Absolutely. I can say that there's probably more times than I can count on my hands where he tossed me a perfect bomb while doing the And, no untouched touchdown, right? There's been times where it was like that. And more times I could probably count. But, there was more times than I can count.
Mm-hmm.
Than probably everybody can count where he went, and yucked it. And it was probably like, intercepted or deflected or whatever. But playing basketball, and it was just, I think we all just found it, funny because DJ's a big teddy bear. Right,
oh, yeah.
he's just such a big teddy bear. Like, he can get scared so easily, but like he won't back down from nothing, right? But the littlest thing can scare the crap out of him. You just say, and he, God, he'd literally just move his hands like this, and the ball would just straight out. Oh man.
It was great though. Like,
yeah, it was always a really good time.
It was such a good time,
dude. Honestly, man,
and we all held our own too. And playing,
yeah, I
but,
mean, we
like,
really did.
Realistically, it all came down to just how much fun we had, man.
Yeah,
like, it really, we just made each other laugh so much while we were playing.
We did
as well.
I think what makes it like, honestly, the most fulfilling for me was that, like, on those days, I could just recall the smile that was on all of our faces.
Yeah.
Like, all of us genuinely having fun, like, enjoying spending time together, being outside, doing things that we'd love to do.
Yeah.
Right? But I will say, as we're running down in showtime here, I think that we touch on one last, story, because it's kind of like a, enveloped story where there's a bunch of them involved with it. Something else that was wild, those block parties were
hell yeah,
always like a highlight of the year.
It was the highlight.
Because
it ended summer.
Because it literally ended summer. It was Labor Day weekend.
It was the last hurrah of summer.
And the next week on that Monday, we were 9 times out of 10 starting school.
Yep.
So it was really like the end of summer. Like, oh my God, we have to go to school soon, and we're not going to be able to do this every day.
Yep. Not going to be able to just relax at home. And
But you guys literally made a legit party.
My parents
that everybody loved to be at.
My mom and dad knew how to throw a freaking party.
I mean, they still do.
They still
do. Can't take it away from them.
I can't take it away from them.
But
they still know how to throw a party.
But those parties, those block parties,
they were literally block parties.
Were fantastic.
We would literally invite the whole neighborhood and all of our family and friends over. We'd have like 100+ people every year.
And literally
200+,
and there'd
people.
be 20 kids.
More than that.
We'd all of us would be playing Manhunt, right? There's there's stories we could tell about playing Manhunt. There's stories we could tell about pelting little kids with, the bounce house balls, right?
Oh yeah.
Like there's
the slide.
The slide, like just playing football.
Dunk tank.
The dunk tank.
Football.
Live band.
Band. My uncle's band, man.
They're like just a drama. I guess.
Yeah.
Like that would happen. I mean, like it was always so fun.
Our stories and what we remember don't even do it justice. There's so many other people out there that can tell you so many other stories about our block parties.
Absolutely.
And we'll remember it for the rest of their lives.
This is just from us, our perspective.
Yeah.
And we were kids.
There were more adult stories that were even funnier and crazier than us.
And, one of these days when we get Papa Chuck on here, I'm sure we'll have him tell some of the stories.
Oh, for sure. Same thing with my mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, even my Uncle Joe, who was in chat, like he was there. He remembers so much. All the dads and my uncles, like all the dads, they were all playing horseshoe in the back. I mean, we would build those horseshoe, my dad would build those horseshoe the
little pen, like
pens
I call
for
it
specifically
a horseshoe, that
the parties. He would take them out at the end, but he would literally weeks before would make them specifically for the parties. And they were great.
Honestly, I would think my most memorable memory from the block party is probably when we were playing Manhunt and you ended up getting the tree branch in the eye.
Nah, really? That's your number one?
I feel like that's what stands out.
Wow.
The most.
I remember that. I absolutely, so I'll tell you my perspective on it. So literally we were playing Manhunt, and it was at one point, I think I want to say it was right at the beginning when we broke. It's for our... And by the way, our manhunt wasn't just at my house. The whole neighborhood let us use their property as hiding spots.
Yes, so
the
we
whole
were
neighborhood
able to
would
use other people's
and
yards.
we agreed on it. Like, you know, we asked them, like we want to play manhunt around the neighborhood. Would it be okay if, like, we could use, like, we went out to everyone individually, like, can we use your house? They're like, yeah, go ahead. And, like, it didn't even become a question anymore. They just knew.
It was almost that, you know, the backyard was kind of off questions and off limits for us.
Yes,
like,
because...
in rules that we made for each other.
You had to spread out. You had to go.
Yeah, but you couldn't be in the backyard.
Yeah, you couldn't be in the backyard of my house. And even really, like, the neighbors' houses, to, like, the actual, like, next door neighbors, you really had to be spread out. And we would use people's down the street to the end of the cul-de-sacs houses. And then when we got older, we started to use the upper hills.
Yep.
I mean, and then the woods. We literally would use the woods.
I specifically remember DJ and myself showing up just as Manhunt had started one year. And we had made the trek from the woods, you know, to come over. And we were like, why not just go right back to the woods? Why not just go back to, like, you know, we called it Snake Hill because there was... generally a couple snakes that were around there, you know, when we first started going back there. But, you know, we just went back to Snake Hill and we just sat there until we started seeing lights getting closer and closer and closer. Yeah. Which obviously we could see the lights from the party right there, you know. But
it is sad though, Coltrane. Like they would not do what we did.
Yeah, absolutely. They wouldn't. They'd be inside, they'd be probably playing games on the Switch, or they'd be, hey, watch this TikTok, you know, and that's not to say that we don't do that.
Like, video games are cool, don't get me wrong, it definitely, you know, draws a crowd, and you have a lot of fun with your friends, but it's not the same as...
Yeah, and, I mean, even if you guys were to have a block party now, just on this street, and if the same circumstances were, everyone was as comfortable with you guys as, you know, the other neighborhood, right? Like, even if that entire group of people... like, all of the friends that we had show up, right? All of our age friends show up. There's no chance we'd be playing Manhunt.
Yeah, no.
Like, you know, it might get brought up, like, but majority of us are going to go, I'm out of shape. No, I can't be running like that.
No.
And, like, you know...
And we'll be thinking about the other neighborhoods and goes, like, they don't want a 20-year-old kid, like, 20-year-old guy.
If you see if you see someone like us in the middle of the night coming in your backyard, there's a chance we're getting held up at gunpoint.
Yeah. And by the way, he said middle of the night. That's not an understatement. We would literally go until like 1, 2 in the morning playing Manhunt.
Absolutely.
Because these parties would go to like 1, 2, 3 a.m.
They would go late into the night.
I remember early on the parties would be late. My parents were great and let me stay up way late.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the parties usually started around 3 or 4, right?
We would start
like
the parties
3, 4,
like 2:30 to 3, 4, and 5. It depended on like
it depended on the year.
It depended on the year and like if we were ready or not.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if we knew that, like, we were behind, we would be like, hey, it's going to be at 4 this year. Or if we were, like, right on everything, we got everything, all scheduled up, ready to go, then it was like, yeah, you can start showing up at 2:30.
Yeah.
If you want to. That was the earliest. Like, 2:30, I remember, like, would be like, it's going to start soon. Like,
you know, another memory that really sticks out to me, and, you know, this is going to be a slight on my dad, but, you know, don't take it the wrong way, you know, I vividly remember one year, and it was one of the first years that, like, me and DJ, when we would come over, we, like, started to take Route 9, like, behind the that plaza.
Yep.
And we would take that small portion of Route 9 by Acura to your house. But, you know, I strictly remember, like, one of the first years that we did that, like, I didn't want to go home through the woods, and I didn't have my bike with me, and it was, you know, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and, you know, I called my dad going, hey, could you come and get me? You know, it's late, you know, and I really don't want to go through the woods, and I really don't know if I want to just walk on Route 9. He was like, well, find your own way home to get home. And, you know, at that point, you know, me and DJ, and, you know, we walked on Route 9 and back to the house. But I also, you know, I don't believe this was at the block party, but And there was another time I remember at night calling my dad, asking him to come pick me up because, you know, I didn't want to go home through the woods. And this is before Route 9 that we even thought about it. You know, and my dad was like, I'm not coming to pick you up, you know. And I don't believe that I believe that your parents might have been asleep at this point in time. It was like on a Sunday or something like that. And me and DJ, too scared to walk through the woods because we didn't have flashlights and nothing like that. So Nick ended up getting 2 flashlights and he fucking walked with us home. But as we were coming up to like that last patch of walkway to get to our neighborhood and like down that hill, we had heard something behind us. It was probably like some small animal, but we heard it behind us, and all of a sudden DJ was already 50 feet in front of us. He was already in a full-on sprint, and as soon as I looked and saw him running, I started running, and then Nick just slowly kept walking, and then I think he, you know, as I got closer to DJ, you know, and closer to the opening of our neighborhood, you know, Nick finally caught up to us or whatever. But I really remember that. We were scared. It probably took us a half an hour to get home. And that was, you know, like a 5-minute walk.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was terrifying, people. Remember, this is, you know, when we were like 10, 11 years old, right? And not only were we 10 or 11 years old, we also thought that man-cat was real.
Man-cat, yeah!
Right? We thought that there was a giant cat, almost like a puma, that was just walking on 2 legs like a human.
Dude,
Right? You remember man-cat. But, like, we thought man-cat existed in our woods.
Yeah, it was like, we thought that it lived, like, near the power lines, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like, we were like, don't go back there.
Yeah!
Back there! Don't go back there!
Like, and we were terrified to walk in the woods at night because of that one specific reason.
Cryptic creature.
Yeah, this mythical creature.
This urban legend that we believe.
Maybe man-cat will be our logo.
Oh my god.
Imagine that actually being our logo, the man-cat. Oh, man. Oh, God.
It was, oh, man. Our childhood was fucking awesome, man.
It really was. And I tell you what, if I can go back, I probably wouldn't change a fucking thing.
No, between us, no.
Because
I wouldn't change a damn thing.
Especially, like, the times that we spent at your house, like, summer times or days off, because we were at your house from dawn until night.
Yeah.
Doing something.
Wiffle
ball to basketball, back to wiffle ball, to video games, back to basketball.
Yeah,
It
like
didn't
that's
matter.
what would happen. Like we would play a
rotate.
game of like basketball or football or baseball or whatever. We get like, say it's like summer.
Yeah.
We get tired and we're all hot and, you know, we're
We
sweating. We
go
go inside,
inside.
we get some water, and then we play video games for like an hour and then go right back outside.
Literally, that's how.
That's it. We barely spent any time inside whatsoever.
And while we were inside, 9 times out of 10, we were playing indoor hockey.
Hockey or watching like a Met or Yankee game.
Yeah, and the next, you know, time to reminisce segment that we do, you know, we're gonna reminisce on some stories down in the basement. You know, there's some good ones down there, but yeah, I wouldn't take it back for nothing, man. Those days were the days.
The bomb.
Those were the days. That is literally like when that, you know, when that phrase is brought up, you know, the good old days. That is what I think of.
Oh, yeah.
Like quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so much fun, and all this was down in that basement.
Yeah,
as well.
all of it.
So this is really like a nostalgia dopamine for me as well. Every time I see all this stuff,
yeah, really,
all of our Mets memorabilia.
It's
been here all those
Pedro.
times.
Pedro right back
Pedro,
here.
Reyes and Reyes, Beltran and Wright, Murphy, Reyes, Wright.
Murphy.
I mean, just everything. Here.
I mean,
the
honestly,
baseball cards.
These two,
Yeah.
I just remember so vividly.
Mm-hmm. And even Lou Gehrig and Cal Ripken.
Yeah, man, the good old days. The good old days.
The good old days, man.
Well, hey, it's about that time, man. You know, we've had a good podcast.
It was very
It was a good episode today.
I will absolutely say that this was another successful segment of
Absolutely, it was a good change of scenery too.
Yeah,
you know, it was nice to come down here, and you know, we're definitely gonna have to switch it up every once in a while because this is good pace of scenery here, and you know, I really enjoy having, you know, a little bit of backtrack, but
and a little bit more space.
I also think that we'll probably end up making a little bit of a backdrop ourselves, but that'll come in time.
Yeah.
But that's it, folks. Thank you all for showing up. Remember, we love you so much. We thank you all for coming. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a follow. Facebook. We have our Facebook now. Make sure you go follow that. You'll be able to see our schedule and all of the announcements of going live. So you'll be able to keep up with that. Just if you're watching this and you're watching it after, this date, after Monday the 13th, comment. Let us know how you like the stream. Let us know how you like the podcast. Tell us if we could do something different that you guys might like. Tell us if we're doing something that you guys just kind of don't like.
Answer our audience question that we had sent you guys. What is your favorite, or what movie are you the most excited to see this year?
Absolutely. We want your input. We don't want it to just be a two-man show. We want you guys to be involved in this as well. And that's besides, the guests that come onto the show. We want you guys to have your input as well. It might not be talked about all the time or, breaking out during the show, but we will be noticing it, people.
Absolutely.
We notice it, and we appreciate it tremendously. I can't speak on it enough, honestly. Any final words, man? I'm gonna get ready here.
It's just I really enjoyed that time to reminisce segment. I love going down memory lane.
And hey, maybe now that we're coming down to the final parts of the rating of the logos, maybe we do two segments in a row of rank this, and then maybe we throw in time to reminisce, or maybe we just do a podcast and just have the entire episode be time to reminisce.
Yeah.
And I actually think that's a great idea that we'll possibly talk about off camera, but maybe, possibly, expect something big coming. That's all I'll say, because I think I got a pretty good idea. But I thank you all for coming. We thank you all for coming. And good night. You better be good.